Okay. It's recorded. It's recorded. But I have to share the link. Actually, जो लूम का था, लूम was a free trial, and recently मुझे मेल मिला था कि free trial over है and we cannot share public link. So मैंने दूसरा extension use कर रहा हूँ मैं अभी फिलहाल तो आज. So it downloads in my local. So I have recording in my local. I have to just share it. I have to just upload it on. Basically उसको upload करना है मुझे, and then I will share the link to you. So कल के सेशन में हम लोगों ने sorting comparator function पढ़ा था, right? So today we are going to start two pointers. So before starting two pointers, I want to ask you guys any doubts in this sorting comparator? Any doubts? No, right? Everyone is clear with the sorting and comparator function, right? So yesterday I also gave a problem as a home assignment. So were you able to think about that, Cap? No, Cap. Okay. Uh, Fine. So today we are going to start two pointers, and to be honest, two pointers can be understood by just one problem, and today we'll be solving that problem only. And yeah, I want you guys to have a complete focus here. Again, let's start the session by a problem. Problem is very simple. What problem says that you are having a binary array. Binary array means you are having an array with zeros and ones. So let's say 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay. Hmm. And you are having a value k. So let's say k is equal to 2. So problem is ki you can replace any two zeros or at most k zeros to 1. Like you can replace this 0 with 1, this 0 with 1, and you have to tell longest subarray with all ones. Like like if I replace this 2 0 with the 1, then I have this as the longest subarray. That is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, uh, 7 length, as simple as that. And suppose if I replace this 0 with 1 and this 0 with 1, then I have a longest subarray with contiguous 1. Here I'm having 4, here I'm having 3, here I'm having 1. So longest subarray is 4, of length 4. So problem is you are having a binary array with 0 and 1, and you can replace at max k zeros with 1, and you have to tell the longest subarray with all ones from anywhere. You can make it 1 and you can make it 1. It's up to you. Or you can make this 0 1, you can make this 0, up to you. Everyone is able to understand the problem statement, right? Okay. So give it a try and don't think of two pointer or anything else which you don't know. Hint I would be giving you is a binary search and a prefix sum. Okay. Binary search and a prefix sum is a hint. Let's see. Let's see how many of you are able to do.
Well, I asked whether he's already on the 100 people website. So, yeah, turf, turf something, turf away, turf something. Tough is okay. I'm just aware of. So, yes, yes. So, really, I didn't ask. So I asked
So any
my
ideas?
monthly also because so when she was that I am a liquid dinner
Mm-hmm.
and I also told her to ask Preeti and Preeti just told me like if Sugar is giving the promotion why is it I am very otherwise not so मैंने कहा कि कुछ नहीं है तो कि वैसे
Mm.
क्या
Say what is approach?
क्या तो आप दोगे ना सबको okay so this is on you oh okay ये कब हुआ
Okay, okay.
No, no. Yes, but Preeti told me, यदि सुजय पार्टी दे रहा है अपने promotion की then I am not available then now. Then what? Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
fine.
got your
So I
approach. I got
just
your approach.
told her
But
नहीं नहीं
Miss, you're not able. What I got it. What you're trying to say.
So
Uh, First thing we
should I
will do it
ask
using
you as
binary
well?
search.
Like,
The person, whoever who said the approach, was similar to a correct approach. But if still any other ideas, I want to hear. Any other ideas from you guys? See, from our topics, right, would be a little bit tough, right? We are not going to stay stuck in arrays. We are not going to stay stuck on simple topics, right? We are going to learn new things every day. So it will be tougher. It will be new learning session every day. So you have to give it a try. Okay. So the hint was binary search and a prefix sum. Let me ask you a question. Suppose you're not able to make uh, mm, suppose you're not able to make of length 8, you're not able to make any subarray of length 8 such that it contains all ones and with at max k zeros, like this subarray. If I take this subarray, I cannot make this subarray. This length is 8. Okay, this length is 8. I cannot make this subarray as all ones because I can change at max k zeros. So if I change this and this to 1, now still I'm not able to make this zero as well. So if I'm not able to make any length, any 8 length, then it's obvious that I won't be able to make 9 length array. I will be not able to make 10 length array. I will not be able to make 12 length array. Right? It's obvious, right? Okay. Like if you're not able to make 8 length, right? It's suppose you cannot get answer as 8. So it's obvious you cannot get answer as 9, 10, and 12. So on. For all the above numbers, that is greater than 8. Suppose I'm able to make an array of length 4 with all ones. Like, let's take this as an example. Suppose if I'm able to make an array of 4 length such that it is of length 4 and there's at max k zeros. Here there's only one zero, that is at max k. K was 2, so I have only one. So I'm able to make of length 4. Then it's obvious that if length 4 is possible, then length 3, 2, 1, this would be also possible. Yes or no? If like for here 4 length is possible, then 3 length is this one or this one, whatever you say. Similarly 2 length also, this one, this one, this one. Similarly 1 length also. So from here, whenever you get a point of something like this, right, key you are able to make 4 length, then it's obvious you are able to make length 1 to 3. Whenever you are able to get these things as an intuition, there's a high probability of binary search.
Hello?
Because earlier we've studied, right? In binary search, what you usually do? In binary search, we are having lengths, right? Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose length is our answer. Length 0, so length 1. Minimum length is 1. Length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 8, 9. Let's say 10. Suppose length 9, length 8 is, I'm not able to make any contiguous array of length 8. Let's say for length 8 I'm getting false. Then it's obvious for all the above lengths that is greater than 8 would be false. Right? Similarly, let's say I'm able to make an array of length 4 with all ones. Let's say for 4 it is true. Then it's obvious that for 1, 2, and 3 I'll also get true. For 5, let's say it is true. So I want to find last true. 7 is the last true. I want to find the last length where I'm able to make the all zeros as one, and length is maximum. So I want to find the last length or last true in this case, right? Are you getting my point? Are you getting how I'm applying binary search, or how I'm telling binary search? Anyone having any doubts in this thing? इन बाइनरी सर्च भी वो डूइंग राइट कि हम लोग आंसर पे बाइनरी सर्च कर रहे थे, तो जैसे तुम लोग क्लियर ही है, मतलब हम लोग को लास्ट टू चाहिए। अगर लेंथ 8 के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं है तो लेंथ 9 10 के लिए पॉसिबल नहीं होगा। सिमिलरली अगर लेंथ 4 के लिए पॉसिबल है तो मैं लेंथ 3 2 1 भी बना सकता हूँ। कि सपोज ये लेंथ 4 मैंने बना दिया, तो कोई भी एक 3 सब एरे चूज कर लो छोटा सा, उसके लिए पॉसिबल है। सिमिलरली लेंथ 2, सिमिलरली लेंथ 1। सो मुझे लास्ट ट्रू कहाँ पे आ रहा है, दैट इज एक्चुअली माई आंसर। 7 इज द लास्ट ट्रू, सो 7 मेरा आंसर है। Now the problem is कि how to check कि for that mid value I'm able to make or not. That is the question, right? One second, guys. बोल।
अभी मैं मेरे एक दोस्त के साथ जा रहा हूँ। ये
लड़की
दोस्त
लड़की लड़की
लड़का,
अभी लड़की से बात चल रही थी इससे पहले।
वो वंशिका थी, वो कलीग है। ठीक है तो
Is it correct and correct to you? बोल
नहीं
बोल।
नहीं, आई एम सॉरी, मैंने ये बोला था आई एम सॉरी इस टाइम कॉल करने के लिए।
हाँ हाँ।
तो ऐसे कुछ बोला था, तो मैं बोलूँगी लड़का ही है, यदि तेरा मन हो पीने का बियर तो बता दियो, क्लास खत्म होने के बाद लोकेशन भेजना।
अरे नहीं नहीं यार चल। हाँ। अच्छा मैंने बानी सच नाम लिया, मैंने उधर पर लेफ्ट यार क्या। फाइन। Okay. Now our task is to find कि how do we check कि for length 4 are we able to make, means how do we write our function possible for length mid, for length 4 suppose, how do we write a function possible for length 4 such that it returns true or false. For it return true if it is possible, it return false if it is not possible. Now this is our main task. बाइनरी से तो लगा ही लेंगे, लो ये रहा हाई, बड़ा सा वैल्यू ले लो कुछ भी, एज सिंपल एज दैट। हाई ले लो एन, बाइनरी से लिखने में कोई दिक्कत नहीं। नाउ आवर टास्क इज to write function as a possible function, या फिर is possible जो भी बोल सकते हैं, is valid is possible। now ये बताओ how many of you are able to think about how do we write is possible. Hint is prefixum। Mhm. What is okay, what is your prefixum, what your prefixum stores? Mhm. But prefix is actually your prefixum of numbers, right? Okay, got it. That is correct. I got your approach and you're going correct. Now, I guess you would have got the approach, right? You would go and for each I, you would go I to I mid. You want the number of zeros in between, right? And that is simple. That is prefix of I plus mid minus prefix of I plus array of I. That would give you the number of zeros. And if that is count less than equal to k, then it's possible, right? This is what you're doing now. Ha, correct. Now, now let me tell you. Now let's now let's try to write is possible function which is going to return true or false for that particular length, for that particular mid. Let me take above example. Uh, First, I will do without prefix sum, then I will do with prefix sum. Means we have to always have optimization right in our mind. Okay. Then three ones, zeros and ones. Three ones, zero and one. Okay, fine. Let's say mid is let's say mid is three. Let's say mid is three. I will start from here. It means that my subarray will start from here. Now my mid is three. It means that my length is three. So from here till here, length is three, right? So I will iterate from here till here, and I would calculate number of zeros. Number of zeros is number of zeros is one, and k is two, right? So is length is three dot क्या? Zero, one, two. So this is length three, right? हाँ. So for I am starting here. Suppose from here I go to this index. Take it. Now my mid is three. It means that I'm trying to search for length three. Now here in this array I got only one zero and k is two. It means that it is possible, right? So you return true directly. Let's say let's say mid is five. Let's say mid is five. Okay, let's say mid is five, and let's say k is also five. Okay, let's say k is one. In this case, let's say k is one. Let's take this example. I would start from here. What for each I would consider it as a starting point. हर एक I को मैं एक starting point मानूंगा. अगर ये starting point है मेरे सवेरे का, what would be my last point? Obviously, पांच distance बाद this would be my last point. Similarly, if this is my starting point of Sabare, this would be my last point of Sabare. Similarly, if this is my starting point, then this would be my last point of Sabare. Yes or no? अगर मेरा I starting point है, let's say mid 5 है, then I plus 5 minus 1 would be the last point of Sabare. ये सबको समझ में आता है? इतना से सबको समझ आता है? And in that Sabare, number of zeros should be less than equal to k. Okay, let's take example. Let's understand it from very basic. मिड फाइव है के इज इक्वल टू वन है मतलब मैं एक ही जीरो को वन बना सकता हूँ दैट सिंपल सो इफ दिस इज माई स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट सो दिस विल बी माई एंडिंग पॉइंट सो आई विल आइटरेट एंड आई विल काउंट number of zeros is 3 k is 1 so can I make this subarray all ones no right okay let's move so now this is my I so my j will be this ending point will be this how many zeros 2 how many zeros I can make no similarly here no. Similarly here, no. Similarly here, no. Now, but when I is this, ending point is this. How many zeros? 1. What is your k? 1. So number of zeros is less than or equal to k. So can I make this? Can I make this subarray all ones? Return true. So what I'm doing, so that the thing which I'm doing, I will write in code. For each I'm starting from I less than n, I plus plus, and I'm maintaining a count of zero. And for from that j is equal to I am iterating till j is equal to I plus five, j less than j plus plus, and I'm calculating count of zeros. So if array of I equals to zero, count zero plus plus, and and if count of zero is less than equal to k, if in that array count of zero is less than equal to k, like here in this subarray, count of zero was only one and my k was also one, so count of zero is less than equal to k. It means that I can make the subarray of all ones that is having length mid. So I would return true. As simple as that. Otherwise, should I return false ka? No. Otherwise, I will go to next index and I will check. So when I've checked for all the indexes, when this whole for loop is done, I would return false in the end. because I will go to all index. That's it. Let me show you. First of all, I am going to all index as a starting point. Then from that index, I am going to a subarray of length 5. I am calculating count of zeros, and if count of zero is less than or equal to k, I am returning true. And when I am done with all the subarrays, then I am returning false. From this function, are you able to understand that this will return correct, true, and false, right? Mhm. Exactly. It will go out of bound. Uh, Here you will have to give the correct value. I should be less than n minus or minus 5. Mm. Exactly. Your starting point is I, and you are iterating from j is equal to I to j plus 3 minus 1. Okay. Now everyone is clear with this code. कि हाँ, this is possible function will return correct, true, and false. There's some you have to put correct value because for I is equal to 5, you know, this is your last index. This is your last I. N minus 5 exactly. So here it will be I less than equal to n minus 5 or n minus mid. ठीक है? So I hope everyone is able to understand. Is like basically what you say. Uh, Something we say is possible function. Everyone is able to understand it. How I wrote and is this is correct, right? Can you tell me? Huh? Can you tell me the time complex of it? Big of n into n or big of n square, right? Because this loop is running for n times and this loop is going to run for at max. I will tell you how. It is going to be in big of n square. You can calculate it later on, but now we have to optimize it. When you will like minus on it, it will be n square log n. This is the time complexity of this code. Now we have to optimize it. We will use prefix sum. First of all, let me ask you: are you able to understand this is possible function? How I wrote? Everyone is able to understand it. Anyone having any doubts in this is possible function? No. Sorry, you're not audible properly. Ha ha. Or I plus mid. Now, suppose I made a prefix sum of it. This is my array. Array was one, zero, three ones, two ones, two zeros, three ones, I guess, 0 and 1. Uh, am I correct? क्या यार? Three ones, yeah, I was correct. Okay, let me make a prefix sum of it. Prefix sum is 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. This is array and this is prefix sum. Now, suppose you are here and I want to calculate number of zeros of this subarray without iterating it. Can you tell me easily with the prefix sum? See, index is if you do, you can easily find number of zeros that is prefix of 6, index is 6, index is 2, minus prefix of 2. If you do prefix of 6 minus prefix of 2, what it will give? Can you tell me what it will give? It will give the number of ones. Sorry. No, no. Here your number of zeros exactly. And you're also subtracting this value here. So what you should do? You should add array of 2. See, let me tell you. No, yeah, no, yeah, we are doing something wrong. This will not be number of zeros. Okay, okay, got it, got it, got it. No, no, we are wrong, we are wrong. We want to get number of zeros easily, right? This was our task, right? We want to calculate number of zeros in a fast manner without iterating it. This was our task. So I think I made a mistake. We should not have prefix sum of ones. We should have a prefix sum of zeros. I will make prefix sum of zeros. So how do I make prefix sum of zeros? So consider 0 as 1 as 0 and 0 as 1. This thing. I made a prefix sum of zeros because I want to calculate number of zeros in between, right? It's quite simple, right? While calculating prefix sum, so if it is 1, consider it as a 0. If it is 0, consider it as a 1. I'm making a prefix sum of zeros. Now, if I want prefix, I want number of zeros in between. So, prefix of 6 will store number of zeros till here minus prefix of 2 will store number of zeros till 2. And you also have to check whether this was 0 or 1. So, you have to add it accordingly. So, I will add 1 minus array of 2. If it was like if it is 1, then it should not add, right? So 1 minus 1, 0. If it was, let's say it was 0, so 1 minus, it should add, right? If it was 0, so it should add. So 1 minus 0, 1, so it will add 1. So I made prefix of zeros here, that is calculating, that is, it will tell number of zeros till I index. And suppose I want to have number of zeros from index 2 to index 6, so I will easily do prefix of 6 minus prefix of 2 plus 1 minus array of 2. As simple as that. Or you can also use if else. If array of 2 equals to 1, then do not 2. If array of 2 equals to 0, then do some plus plus. You can do that also. But I prefer it writing in one hand only, in one line only. So I hope everyone is clear with this. So now we can calculate number of zeros from any index till any index in big of 1. So that thing only we have to replace here. So we can replace it easily. Suppose I made a prefix of suppose I made a prefix sum of zeros, and I'm at starting point I, and my length is mid. So how would I get count of 0? So int count 0 is equal to prefix of I plus mid. वहां तक कितने zeros है? Minus prefix of I plus current element 0 है कि नहीं है, that thing 1 minus array of I. This will give me number of zeros. अगर मेरा starting point I है और ending point I plus mid है, that is ending point I plus mid minus 1. दैट इज मेरा स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट आई है और मेरे सब एरे का लेंथ मिड है, सो एंडिंग पॉइंट वुड बी आई प्लस मिड माइनस 1. अगर ये काउंट ऑफ जीरो, इफ काउंट ऑफ जीरो इज लेस देन इक्वल टू के, रिटर्न ट्रू. एज सिंपल एज दैट. नाउ चेक, एक ही लूप चल रहा है अपने पास, सो यहाँ पे एन स्क्वायर नहीं आ रहा, सो वी हैव ऑप्टिमाइज इट टू बिग ऑफ एन. आई विल कोड इट, बट समझ में आया सब लोग को कि हमने इसको ऑप्टिमाइज कैसे किया, हाउ हाउ वी हैव ऑप्टिमाइज इट टू बिग ऑफ एन. एवरीवन, एनीवन हैविंग एनी डाउट्स हियर? अरे यार क्या कंफ्यूजन इसमें. देखो, प्रीफिक्स ऑफ तुमने यहाँ प्रीफिक्स सम बनाया, किसका बनाया प्रीफिक्स सम? जीरोस का बनाया, जीरो का, राइट. अगर सपोज तुम्हारे पास, अच्छा ये बताओ मैं चीज, लेट्स से I want to calculate number of zeros between 2 and 6. So if you do prefix of 6 minus prefix of 2, बट यहाँ पे तुम प्रीफिक्स ऑफ 2 को भी घटा रहे हो, राइट. सो अगर सपोज लेट्स से जीरो होता, लेट्स से जीरो था, सो तुमने एक एक्स्ट्रा जीरो घटा दिया, राइट. यू आर सब्ट्रैक्टिंग एन एक्स्ट्रा जीरो. सो तुम्हें ये करना पड़ता, सो लेट्स फिट इन दिस फॉर्मूला. सो तुम्हें यहाँ पे 1 ऐड करना है, राइट, एक्स्ट्रा. सो दैट ओनली आई एम डूइंग 1 माइनस एरे ऑफ 2. एरे ऑफ 2 इज 0, सो 1 माइनस 0 1, सो 1 एक्स्ट्रा ऐड हो गया. बट सपोज इफ एरे ऑफ 2 इज 1, तो क्या तुम्हें यहाँ पे कोई एक्स्ट्रा ऐड करना पड़ेगा इसके अंदर, बिकॉज ये जीरो तो नहीं है, इट इज 1, देयर इज नो एक्स्ट्रा एडिशन, राइट. So 1 minus 1 0. That simple thing I did. या फिर तुम if else ही लगा सकते हो, it is up to you. So I hope everyone is able to understand till this point. Yes or no? Anyone having any doubts? Anyone having any doubts? So we do longest subarray with at max k zeros. Let's do it. No, no, not it's not there. Longest subarray with utmost. Okay, let's open this. Do we have practice problem link? No, we don't have. Okay, yeah. Make some consecutive ones. Here's the problem link. So let's score it and let's see मैंने किससे किया था. It was Binance or two pointer. No, it was two pointer. Okay, let's score it. Let's write bool is function, right? Static. Uh, bool is possible. It will take mid. It will take our vector. That's it. You will create a prefix sum of length int n is equal to nums dot size. Now, what you will do, you will iterate from the very and you will make a prefix sum in prefix of n having a value 0 initially. Now you will iterate on this prefix sum. So prefix of I am making a prefix sum of 0. So prefix of I is equal to 1 minus array of I. अगर 1 है and if I prefix of I plus is equal to prefix of I minus 1. मैंने prefix sum बनाया यहाँ पे. So I hope everyone is able to understand this thing. अगर 0 है तभी कंट्रीब्यूट करो. अगर 1 है तो कंट्रीब्यूट मत करो. If array of I is 1, contribute 0. If array of I 0 is contribute 1. As simple as that. समझ में आया इसी सबको? I am making a prefix sum of zeros. That's why I did it. Okay. So let's go to for int I is equal to 0, I less than n minus mid I plus plus. अगर सपोज मुझे एक लाइन चाहिए तो I इक्वल टू आएगा. सॉरी माय बैड. int count of 0 is equal to prefix of I plus mid minus 1 minus prefix of I plus 1 minus array of I. इसको मैं array कर देता हूँ. Let me make it array. And if I also have to pass k int k. If count 0 less than equal to k, then return true. Otherwise, return false after checking for all the values. So let's have a uh, mm, int low is equal to 1, int high is equal to size n, nums dot size, and let's say int answer is equal to minus 1 initially, while low less than equal to high, जैसे हम लोग करते थे. Int mid is equal to low plus high by 2, and if is possible mid comma k comma nums. अगर पॉसिबल है सो आई वुड स्टोर इट. बताओ क्या करूँ. शुड आई मूव माई लो और हाई. व्हाट शुड आई डू हियर. तुम लोग सोचो. थिंक इन योर माइंड. इवन नोटबुक लिख दो. व्हाट शुड आई डू हियर इफ इट इज पॉसिबल. व्हाट शुड आई चेंज. शुड आई चेंज लो और हाई. वी शुड इंक्रीज आवर मिड. सपोज लो हाई ये था और हाई अपने पास 8. लेट्स से मिड इज इक्वल टू हैव 4. 4 के लिए सपोज पॉसिबल है. सो इन विच पार्ट शुड वी हैव टू सर्च. इन दिस पार्ट और दिस पार्ट. Which part we have to search. So what should we do? Should we do not and what should we do? Exactly. Low is equal to mid plus 1. Else high is equal to mid minus 1. Return answer. I hope this is correct. There should be no compilation error. Let me make it static function. Yeah. accepted. Let me submit it. What happened here? Wrong answer. Okay, we have not taken this case. हमें ये तो केस मिला ही नहीं. अगर केस जीरो है तो if case zero and all zeros, can you tell me how do we handle this case? यहाँ पे अपना आंसर आ रहा है -1. So if okay, answer should be zero. So not -1, should be zero. So let's write answer as zero. Handle हो जाएगा. Submit हो जाएगा. Submit. Accepted. So I hope everyone is able to understand the code. Everyone is able to understand the logic. सबको समझ में आ गया राइट ये चीज? ये बताओ पहले मुझे. ये कोड और लॉजिक सबको समझ में आया? Should we move forward or you guys are having any doubts? No, right? Now we are going to do two pointer here. The time complexity of previous approach was big of n login. n login कैसे? We are doing login operations here. ये तो login है भाई, पता है तुम लोग को. This is login, and for each operation, I am running this is possible function. And is possible is running big of n times. Okay, let me ask you a trick question. अगर मैं यहाँ से and हटा दूँ, let me remove and. Can anyone tell me the time complexity of this approach now? कोई बता सकता डिफरेंस क्या? What is the difference between writing and not writing and? You would have seen me writing and here multiple times. It is called as calling by reference. Sorry, passing by reference. अगर मैं and यहाँ से हटा दूँ, now this array is actually local array for is possible function. Okay, ये लोकल एरे हो जाएगा इस पॉसिबल के लिए. मतलब यू नो राइट, स्टैक मेमोरी में स्टोर होता है एवरीथिंग. योर एवरी फंक्शन कॉल इज इन स्टैक. सो ये लोकल हो गया. सो व्हाट एक्चुअली विल हैपन बिहाइंड द सीन्स, दिस होल एरे, दिस योर ओरिजिनल नम्स विल गेट कॉपीड एवरी टाइम इन दिस एरे. अगर देखो मैं यहाँ पे एंड लिख के करता हूँ कितना टाइम जाता है. इफ आई राइट एंड हियर, लेट मी सी द टाइम, हाउ मच टाइम इट वाज टेकिंग. सो इट वाज 11 milliseconds, राइट. मैं एंड लिखा था. लेट मी रिमूव एंड हियर एंड लेट्स सी हाउ मच टाइम डज इट टेक. क्या होता है सबमिट क्यों काम करता है इसका. सी 32 milliseconds, डबल टाइम. Because every time when you remove and, right, it first of all it will, before running this function, it will copy your nums value into this arr value. ये हर फंक्शन कॉल पे ये एरर तुम्हारा हर बार नया बनेगा. सो कॉपी कर रहे, अगेन बिग ऑफ एन ऑपरेशन जा रहा है. पूरे एरे को तुम कॉपी कर रहे हो, एक नए एरे में डाल रहे हो. सो यू आर कॉपिंग इट. एक बिग ऑफ एन का लूप चलेगा बिहाइंड द सीन्स. सो यू आर हैविंग एन एक्स्ट्रा लूप ऑफ बिग ऑफ एन. ठीक है. So I don't want to have an extra loop. I don't want to have an extra copying here. That's why I use and. जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे and लिखा, so this whole nums is getting called. So यहाँ पे कोई changes नहीं हो रहे, right? We are not making any copy here. We are passing that exact nums here. Okay? और अगर मैं यहाँ पे change कर दूँ, if I make a change here, let's say if I change array of 0 is equal to 6. So जो nums में था, right, जो nums में 0 था, वो चेंज हो जाएगा टू 6 वैल्यू, टू वैल्यू 6. बट इफ आई रिमूव एंड परसेंट, देन यहाँ पे जो मैंने चेंजेस किए हैं दैट वोंट गेट रिफ्लेक्टेड इनटू दिस नम्स, बिकॉज यहाँ पे लोकल कॉपी आ रहा है. विदाउट एंड यू आर हैविंग अ लोकल कॉपी. सो array 0 is equal to 6 will affect this array only, but and will not affect nums, right? It will not affect nums, but it will affect this array. But if you write and, यहाँ पे तो चेंजेस आएंगे एंड नम्स में भी चेंज आएगा, बिकॉज द रियल वैल्यू इज नम्स हियर ओनली एंड यू आर पासिंग इट बाय रेफरेंस, नॉट बाय वैल्यू. सो देयर इज टू थिंग, passing by reference and passing by value. So When you are writing and, so it is passing by reference, and we are removing and it is passing by value. Means you are passing the values, you are creating copy of a value and then passing it. But for arrays, suppose here it is vector, right? But if you were having array, let's say array is always passed by reference, ये हमेशा ऐसे ही पास करते हो, और हमेशा पास बाय रेफरेंस होता है ये. You don't write and here in arrays because it is always passed by reference. अगर तुम यहाँ पे चेंज करोगे, राइट, array of 0 is equal to, suppose you made 6, then it will automatically get reflected into original array. So always remember, arrays are always passed by reference. You don't need to write anything here for arrays. But here vector is there. It's an STL object. That's why we need to do and here. We need to ask you and here. Okay. Uh, Lots of discussion. Now let's move to two pointer. We are going to solve this problem with the two pointer. And believe me, this is the with this problem you are able to run a lot in two pointer. And this problem is enough to learn two pointers. So let's take the example again and let's do it in big of n. Now we have done it in big of n login. Now we are going to try it in big of n. 1 0 triple one, sorry, double one, double zero, triple one, 0 and 1. So this is my array. My k is 2. Okay. Okay. Now let me explain you the two pointer approach. Two pointer approaches basically are having basically two pointers, right? Head and tail. So understand it very clearly because it might feel tough to you for the starting point, but okay. Let's have a tail here. Tail is basically behind, right? When you see a snake, snake's head is in front and tail is in the back. As simple as that. Think it as a snake only. You are having a tail pointer and you are having a head pointer, and you are having a variable as count of 0. This will have a number of zeros in your snake body. As simple as that. Basically, from head to tail, from tail to head, how many zeros are there? Okay. Now let's try to move forward. Let's try to move my head forward. Now you will ask me why you are having head behind the tail. Head should be in front, right? If we talk in terms of snake. But fine. Let's take this as a case and let's understand. You guys are in the meeting, right? Huh. I thought everyone has left the class. Huh. Okay. Now let's try to take the first term. We are Our head is here. Let's try to take it. Count of 0 is initially 0. So can we take this in our can we take this one? Yes or no? We can take this because it is not increasing our count of 0, right? So we will take it. So now my new head will be here. As simple as that. Okay. Now let's move our head to this point. Can we take it? Kya? Can we take this 0? Kya? Yes. If we take this 0, our count of 0 will be 1. But we can have at max two zeros, right? So we can take this. So let's move our head from here to next value. Okay. Now you will say that, hey, you are able to make a two size subarray, right? With at most k zeros, right? But I want my snake to be as long as possible, as simple as that. I want my snake to be as long as possible. And my snake should be valid also. Now let's try to move my head here. Can I move my head here? Kya? If I'm moving my head here, count of 0 is 1 only. That is less than equal to k. Means I can move my head here. So let's move my head here. Count of 0 is again 1 because it is not going to increase because it is 1. Let's move my head here. Can I move kya? Yes, again you can move because count of 0 is 1. So my head is here. So let's try to move our head here to here. Can I move my head here? Yes or no? Can I move my head here? Yes. Because now when you will move your head to here, initially you are having 1 0. Now your 0 will increase to 2. And that is also less than equal to k. So it is possible to have two zeros. So you can move your head to here. So now my head is here. Now let's try to move our head here from here. Can I move my head from here to here? No. Why no? Because if I will move my head from here to here, my count of 0 will be 3. But I'm only allowed to have two zeros at max. Correct? So it means that it's time to rest for my snake. So my snake will rest here. So my head is here, your head is here, your tail is here. Can anyone tell me what is the length of this array? Head minus tail plus 1, right? That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 minus 0 plus 1, that is 5. Now, if I cannot eat more zeros, so what I will do? I will start increasing my tail. So let's move my tail from here till here because I cannot move my head further on, right? So I will come here. Now when I left this one, is it decreasing my count of 0? Kya? So my count of 0 will be till this point only. Now my answer is always maximum length. Answer was initially 5. Now what is head minus tail? Head minus tail is 4. But answer will be always maximum. So no. So now can I move my head again? Each time, what see? Each I am moving my head as long as possible. When I am not able to move my head, I am moving my tail forward, right? As simple as that. Initially my tail was here, my head was here. Now I was not able to move my head here. So what I did, I stored the answer, took answer as maximum. Now I moved my tail from here till here. Now my tail is here. Now again I am trying. Can I move my head again and again? No, I'm not able to move my head again, right? So let me erase all the things. My head is here, my tail is here. Can I move my head again? No, I cannot move my head again. So again, when you are not able to move your head, move your tail. Now, see, this subarray, initially, tail to head, this was your subarray, right? You were having two zeros. Now, when you move your head, tail from here till here, now this zero has left, right? So, count of 0 will be 2 or 1. It will be 1. So, your tail is now here. Now, again, let's try moving our head. Can I move my head here to here? Kya? So, count of 0 is 2. My head is here. Can I move my head here to here? Kya? I will move my head as long as possible. Now, I have moved till here. Can I move my head from here till here? No, because your count of 0 will be 3. That is exceeding k. So, what is length now? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So answer is equal to max of answer comma now length. Now length is 7. So answer will be 7 here. Now again, I will start moving my tail. Did you got my point? What I'm trying to do? Until my tail goes to the last index. Now everyone is able to understand. Yes or no? See, I know many of you would be not able to understand what I'm trying to do here. But I will code it. After that you guys will have a greater idea what I'm trying to do. Let me code it. Let me code it. I will code it here only. Mm, okay, let's have let's remove this. Okay, int tail, tail is at initially 0, head head is initially -1 because I've not started my array. While my tail is at last index, int n is equal to nums dot size, and I will also have a count of zero variable. Now I will try now I will try to move my head as long as possible. Right? Initially my head was here. I was trying whether if I will take this, if I can take this element, yes or no. I was trying, right? So while head plus 1 is less than n, and if I take this head, initially my number of zeros is count of 0, and if I take this head, that head plus 1, I have to check whether it will increase my count of 0 or not. How will you check whether that number is going to increase or not? So nums of head plus 1 or h plus 1, this is the thing. If I take this head, so it will be, if that head is, that head plus 1 is 0, so it will be 1 and it will increase my count. Like if I take this, if I move my head to here, if I move my head from head to h plus 1, means I'm considering this element, it will increase my count of 0, means this has to be 0. So 1 minus nums head plus 1, it will be 1. If nums of head plus 1 is 0, it will be 0. If nums of head plus 1 is 0, if 1. So in this way I am calculating whether that element is, what is it, whether number of zeros is uh, less than equal to or not. If it is less than equal to k, I will move my head. So head plus plus, as simple as that. And count of 0 plus is equal to 1 minus nums of head plus 1. I am moving my head as long as possible until these two conditions are valid. Now I would have my answer variable. Int answer is equal to 0. Now, as I told you, when my head is at the last point, I would have answer is equal to max of answer comma head minus tail plus 1. Now, if I'm not able to move my head, like like this case, my head was here and my tail was here. I was not able to move my head further on. In that case, what I did, I have moved my tail to next element. So I will do tail plus plus, and I would decrease that contribution of current tail. So first I will decrease. So count of 0 minus equals to 1 minus area of tail, and I will do tail plus plus, as simple as that, and return uh, answer. Hmm. Yes, guys. Is this correct? The thing which I wrote? Each time I am moving my head as long as possible. After moving, I am calculating my answer. Now I am out of the loop, right? It means that I am not able to move my head further on. So first I calculate the answer here. Now I will move my tail. So before moving my tail, I would remove the contribution of this element. So this element was 1. So it was having nothing contribution. So 1 minus 1, 0. So it will not have anything minus here. And I would move my tail plus plus. So this is the code for, what you say, two pointers. So now everyone is able to understand, right, what I'm doing here. But this is, I will explain you why it is wrong. So let me summary it first. Count here, it should be count of 0. First of all, let me run it. It will give correct answer here in some sample test cases. It is nums, yaar. Wrong answer. Expected 6 out Output 5. What I did here? Ha 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 ha. Did I do something wrong here? Why I'm wrong? K was 2. Okay. I should not be wrong in this case. One second, guys. One second, what I did wrong here? Okay. Head is equal to minus 1 initially. Tail is at 0 index. Okay, fine. Count of 0. I'm moving my head onwards and I'm calculating each element's contribution. Count of 0 is equal to plus is equal to. Oh, why did I did wrong? First, I have to take the contribution, then move my head onwards. Let me run it now. Except, okay. Okay, okay. I was here, right? Let me remove everything here and let me take this case. You guys said it is correct. Let me submit it and it will give me wrong answer for 0000 case. Oh, accepted kya? How it got accepted? See, 1 million seconds and balance was 10, 11 milliseconds around. But it is wrong actually. This code is wrong. This code is not correct. I don't know why it got accepted. Let me have a case. hmm One second. Let me think of a case where it will fail. One, 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 zero. My head will move till here. My tail was here. Okay. I will do tail plus plus. I will do this. Okay. Let's understand where it will fail. It is giving me correct answer, right? But let's add this test case. K is equal to 0 and 5. So answer should be 5. Let's add this test case, yeah. How it is saying it is correct. Code. How do I write test case here? Test case. Add one test case. Let's have a test case as K is equal to 0. So answer should be this 5. Let's see what my code gives. It is giving correct. Why my code is giving 5? Okay, it is taking negative contribution. But fine. Okay, it is taking negative contribution. That's why count of 0 was being negative. Okay, 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 fine. Huh. Uh, I know why it is giving correct answer, but it will not, for this case, it will give correct answer. Let me explain you how. Suppose your K is 0. Okay? And this is 1 and 1 and 1, so until here. Now, till here, your head can move. Tail is here, head is here. You cannot move here, right? Because your K is 0. So, your tail would move from here till here, here till here. Now, here. Every time your tail will move because you cannot move your head, right? Because you cannot have because you cannot have 1 0 at least. You should have only 0 0. So your tail will move till here. But this is not a valid case, right? Tail having in the front and head is behind the back. behind the tail. So it is not possible. In that case, what I'm doing, मतलब हाँ that only I'm doing. So in that case, I would start freshly. So I will have two cases here. Always understand uh, to have some cases. So sometimes it is not possible to move your head, like k is equal to 0 is one of the case. In many problems there would be many other cases. So when head is greater than equals to tails, it means that it is valid. So you would do count of 0 minus equals to that thing only, removing contribution of tails, 1 minus nums of tails, and move tails plus plus. Otherwise, what you will do, you will start over, you will start again. That is, your tail would be head, and count of 0 is equal to 0, and head is equal to tail minus 1. Like we started now, tail is equal to 0, head is equal to minus 1. So we are going to start in this way. Tail is equal to head, count of 0 is equal to 0, and head is behind the tail. So that my array, so that when head moves, so my array should start from here. So this is the case. So always write in this format, because when you just remove the contribution and you do tail plus plus, it is going to be wrong sometimes. For this case, it is not wrong because your count 0 is become negative. When you move your tail to here, your count of 0 was initially 0, and when it came to here, it became negative. But that is not going to happen to other problems. So I hope everyone is able to understand the logic behind it. Now, it tell you the time complexity of it is big of n. How would you prove me why it is big of n? Can you prove me why it is big of n? There are two loops, right? One while loop here, one while loop inside. Why it is big of n? Because head is going to each element only once and tail is going to each element only once. So there are at max n plus n iterations. That is big of 2 into n. That is big of n. That's why big of n. Because head is moving to each element only once, right? Head was initially here, it will move forward only. Similarly, tail will move in forward only. So each head and tail are iterating in forward, and for each element they are iterating only once. That's a big of n. Big of n for head, big of n for tail, big of 2 into n, that is big of n. As simple as that. And this is more optimal than binary search. Binary search was big of n log n. So now I hope everyone is able to understand two pointers for now. It was pretty difficult, I guess. But yeah, it is new for you and it is great topic. Everyone is able to understand, right? Anyone having any doubts? Uh, no. See, okay, now let's understand the meaning of this thing. Good question, actually. I was not expecting this question from this class. Okay, let's take a case, edge case, k is equal to 0. Why I'm having always head at 0, head at minus 1 and tail at 0? Because when I want to start, when I'm starting, I should have at least one element. Suppose if my head is also here, if my head is also here and my tail is also here, my bad. Here we will let tail is equal to head plus 1. Sorry, we write here. Suppose if your head is here and tail is here also, then in some problem it might happen that this subarray is not valid subarray. Then what you will do? In that case, you have to start right from somewhere else. So that only I'm doing. So in that case, you would move tail to head plus 1. Your tail will be this, and your head will be this. so that whenever you encounter any invalid sub-array, you should start over again, and it should not be that in infinite loop. Did you got my point? If suppose, if suppose k is zero, your element is zero, your head is this, your tail is also this. So how you can start your sub-array from here? You cannot start from somewhere from your head will not move, right? That's why I am having head in initial, one position behind the tails, and I'm trying to access this element. I'm trying to have this element as part of my sub-array. And suppose if I'm not able to take it, like here, in this case, tail is greater than head, and I'm not able to access this element. I'm not able to start from here. So if head is greater than equal to tail, then it is correct. But if tail is greater than head and you're not able to have that element, it means that that subarray is invalid. So what you will do? You will move your tail to head plus one, so that you should skip that subarray. So you move your tail to here and head to here, so that you skip this subarray. If you have written just this, if you have written just this count of zero, uh, just this tail plus one, let's say, right? Let's say you have just written this tail plus plus and doing removing contribution of that element. So in that case, the issue would be you can never take this element. Your head will be always behind, and your tail would be moving forward. So you might get wrong answer. You might have some one ones here, right? Here it will work because count of zero is being negative, but there are many problems in which you're not going to have one or zeros, right? You are going to have something else like frequency and all. So that's why. So that's why always consider these two cases. If head is greater than equals to tail, means it is valid case. Do this. If it is not a valid case, you have to start over again. So do tail is equal to head plus one, count of zero, that you are starting again, and do head is equal to tail minus one. So this is one of the some key tricks to handle edge cases. Okay, that's all for today's class, and I would be sharing some problem link on the chat, the two pointers that we'll be discussing tomorrow, because we have left some classes of Monday and Tuesday, so we'll be discussing tomorrow. So I hope this is clear to everyone, right? Anyone having any doubts? I know this class was a little bit tough, but yeah. Harsh, Tanisha, anyone? Salva, Dushkaran, Brinda. What about girls? Tanisha, Salva? No, right? So are you able to understand, Kya? Tell me properly, right? Tell me honestly. Don't lie, right? For class take. थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया क्या? जशकरण तुम्हारे साथ भी सेम है क्या? कि थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आया? क्या क्या? अच्छा, टू पॉइंटर पहली बार पढ़ रहे हो, राइट? सब लोग ठीक है। हम लोग कल टू पॉइंटर, हाँ, हम लोग कल टू पॉइंटर वापस से पढ़ेंगे, एंड मतलब कल थोड़ा सा और प्रॉब्लम्स करेंगे, राइट? आई वुड शेयर द प्रॉब्लम लिंक इन द चैट, जो कि हम लोग कल डिस्कस करने वाले, सो दैट यू गाइस शुड एटलीस्ट ट्राई, क्योंकि कल थोड़ा सा क्लास लिटिल बिट और टफ होने वाला है इससे। ये तो इजी था भाई, टू पॉइंटर का स्टार्टर्स था ये एक्चुअली में। ठीक है, दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडेस क्लास। लेट मी स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग।